Hello, beloveds. Just such a joy to be with you. And on this particular morning, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like slow motion getting going. And so there's some of us here live that are usually live, and I'm guessing there might be some others popping in that might be on the slow-mo train. And we're welcoming those of you who are joining us in the Eternal Now via recording. I'm going to officially open our circle by lighting our candle. We light a red candle with intention to really create sacred space and to send a message that anything that would in any way interfere with our sacred connection and our sacred listening is not welcome here in this space. And so we call ourselves fully into the moment, fully into the body. We take a few very intentional, nice cleansing breaths together. And as we come into the breath, we begin to come into this sacred moment, in this sacred space that we have co-created together, that we are co-creating together with the very source of all love, light, and beauty. And when we come into the soul field with intention, we are naming that frequency, the frequency of soul, that layer of consciousness is predominant here. And in that layer of consciousness, our heart is soft and open. Our body is activated. We become less like a particle and more like a wave. And we can quite literally feel the scintillation of energy. We start to have less differentiation between the edge of our body and the divine plasma that we are moving and floating within. And as this connection is awakened, you feel that link that is yours, that we've been working with, that filament of light that connects you beyond concept to the eternal life wisdom that you are, that you emanate from, that you return to every time you plug in with intention as you are right now. And here you open the portal that placed about a foot above the top of your head to the temple of divine perfection, the energy recycling center in our universe. And you just let whatever is not yours to carry any longer, certainly anything that may have not been yours in the first place, whatever you're complete with, to simply be lifted out and off of you, trusting that sacred temple will purify, cleanse, recycle, upcycle that energy, deliver back into our collective dynamic field. New, fresh, refreshed, vitalizing energy. With these connections enlivened, we'll speak our opening prayer. We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held within a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we actively invoke our unique pathways to source and the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all our relations. Mm. We begin today a new series, and I feel very excited for us to begin this series. I named it Sublimated Mind. We'll unpack what that means. Filament-First thinking. Sublimated mind, filament-first thinking. It's a sort of like very codey. We have to decode what all that means, and we will. Um, but as we are entering into this new series, we're entering also into a new set of affirmations. When we speak our affirmations together, we are attuning our energy to the frequency that the soul field has for us around the given theme. We are literally kind of calibrating ourselves. It's the way that we become more receptive, and also we begin to embody the teachings. And so you'll notice in the affirmations, maybe not today only, but as we go through the series, they'll make more and more sense to your cognitive mind because we will have unpacked them. But today, it doesn't matter because we're tapping the knowing beyond the cognitive mind. That's the whole point of the series. And so we have Tita as our sacred temple tender. She will be speaking the affirmations with you all. I will speak first and then she will share. And oops, I'm not seeing there it is. Okay. And so we can tap at the thymus or rub at the earlobes or both. I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I choose moment by moment to lead my soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign, sacred connection may purify my thought field.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
Yeah. So I want to invite you before we kind of dive into a little transmission. I want to invite you to take a moment. Just notice what, if anything, rose up as you were saying your affirmations and tapping. And also do a little self-reflection. See if you have a sense, if you just do a little moment of thinking about yourself, feeling into yourself. Where do you get tripped up in thought? Where do you get tripped up in your thought field? Like where does your mind override or catch you or pull you out of connection, out of presence? And it might be around a particular topic, might be a particular time of day. It might be, when you're in a certain, like you're not, you haven't had enough sleep or like that. Just kind of get a sense for yourself. Like, where does the mind, the thinking mind, we might even say the cultural mind, trip you up? And you can type in the chat, take a couple notes for yourself in your journal, but just see if you can get a sense of like, oh yeah, over here. Here's where I tend to get. Yeah. Someone says in the chat when self-care has been lacking, then the mind takes over. Yeah. This is so accurate in terms of our physiology because it's when we're in that fight or flight space, when you eat certain foods, absolutely. Certain foods, certainly all food have frequency, but certain foods interact with our frequency in ways that are less than beneficial or more beneficial, right? And it affects our thoughts 100%. 100%. Certain people get when you're feeling judged, get the mind kind of clicking along and running around. Mm-hmm. Screens, social media, TV shows, certain ones, absolutely gets the mind going in non-helpful, run amok sometimes ways. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, when there's not knowing how to solve a problem, not sure where to find help. It's interesting how we can spin mentally when that happens. And we're like just like the hamster wheel just going around and around and around something, which we kind of like know is not where we're going to find the answer, but it's part of what happens sometimes to us, right? It's like we kind of have that. Yeah. I had a little something like that happen today. Um, I've been, feeling this series come on for weeks and kind of feeling the content and the pieces that want to come together and sometimes making a sort of like mental note as the little downloads come in, sometimes making a physical note. Um, but I've just been like it happens for me. It's just like things start swimming in the field around me and I start feeling and seeing the theme, and I can feel spirit talking to me about my life or through me to my clients about their lives. And I can kind of feel like, oh, this is where we're going next. And as I sat down today to kind of like earlier this morning to kind of congeal it a little bit, it was kind of like silent. And I was like, come on, brain, kickstart, and I was trying to get my brain going. And then I just like at some point started laughing because I'm like, you're having a series about surrendering the mind to the filament, and you're trying to turn on your brain in the way of like, let's write some words down, let's have some bullet points, let's, whatever. I got a big chuckle at that. And why I'm speaking to this is sometimes our mind gets ahead of us when we think that's how we have to do a certain task. Like when we think that the mind is required in a particular way. Maybe sometimes around decisions, like, oh, I let me weigh the pros and cons. There's nothing wrong with weighing the pros and cons. I'm not suggesting there is. But let me talk to 20 people and get their opinions. Nothing wrong with that either. But if we're trying to make a decision that's really about a soul driven life, our decisions don't come from weighing pros and cons, nor do they come from out there. Those things might have information that cue us in, but the decision actually comes from a quieting of the mind, a quieting of the thought field, the spaciousness that allows knowing to come in, that allows divine inspiration to come in. I was guided to call this series Sublimated Mind. And sublimation is really, we could say, like a refinement or a purification. And in this case, we're sublimating the mind through the field of soul, and especially the filament, that sacred connection of ours that's actually beyond concept, which is interesting because the mind likes concept, right? We really like conceptual things. And it's part of the beauty of our brain is that we are conceptual beings and we can hold these like elaborate ideas and stories and dreams and whatever. It's like that's magical. Where it turns on us is in some of the ways that you all have talked about. And how I will say it is where those conceptualizations, those thoughts, those dreams, those orientations get fixed in such a way that there's not a sacred receptivity, that there's not first the opening and the listening and the curiosity. Because of this topic, Spirit said, no, don't have any notes. Just see what comes out of your mouth. And I'm surprised, as you might be, of what's coming out of my mouth. I don't know what's coming out of my mouth next, right? But that's the nature of sacred receptivity, that we know that we are connected, that we know there is a filament of light beyond the conceptualization that would have us say or do a particular thing. We know that when we consciously enter into the field of soul, we are all here together, that we've activated an intentional field that will bring in whatever that sacred wisdom is that serves each of us in this particular sacred moment. We are in the Catholic tradition entering what's called Holy Week. And this is a time where we really come into the understanding that death happens and that it gives rise to a reconnection to the soul light, a reconnection to the eternal nature. And so as we're working with this idea of sublimated mind, and we are starting here at the kind of beginning of like what I said is in the Catholic tradition that I'm raised in Holy Week, I'm really aware of how part of what is needing to happen for us is a death of a certain way of using our brain, a death of a certain relationship with mind, so that it can be elevated, glorified in the divine image. One of the things that I saw as this series was starting to come, I had this cute little image, and it was it was kind of like a cartoon brain, but then I was the cartoon, but I was the brain, and it's like had little hands and legs and whatever, you know. And the cartoon brain, that was me, got down on my knees and literally sort of prostrated myself. And it's this sense of, could we let our brain and our mind bow to our sacred? Bow in reverence, bow in gratitude, bow in surrender, bow in acknowledgement of the, I guess I will say, higher or holy nature that we are seeking to become, to commune with. So, in a certain way, this series for us is about that. How do we take our brain and bow it to the light of our soul and let that sacred connection be primary? And not that the mind isn't engaged, but it's engaged in listening and receiving and connecting versus figuring and thinking and deliberating and judging. On this side, it's 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 in like opening, well, what does that mean? Curiosity, like the like open-handed experience, not the working experience. We can pretty much be guaranteed that when we're in that working experience, some part of us is in the part of our brain that feels has been activated, the what's called the sympathetic nervous system, that feels unsafe on some level. Now, I'm not talking about the place where inspiration's happening, flow's happening, you just feel on cognitively. That's not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this. I'm talking about the thinking, rethinking, working, ruminating, that, right? That lets us know some part of us is feeling disconnected, unsafe, isn't sitting in the divine embrace. So these pieces, some of you typed like certain things, certain activities, certain people. It's like these are the moments where we have to take our mind and literally see it like, here's this like baby, and I'm going to put it in the arms of the divine, putting it in the divine embrace. Or you're the little cartoon brain and you're just going to bow down and you're just going to say, okay, I surrender. I know I'm held. I know I'm safe. I don't feel it maybe right now. Help me feel that. So, one of the other images that came as I was prepping for this series, we're just kind of overviewing today. We're just putting some pieces in the field. I saw an image of the goddess in the Hindu tradition, Kali. And Kali Ma is this sort of fearsome goddess. She's got a necklace of skulls and skulls hanging off of her skirt, and she's stepping on the head of a seemingly human being. She's holding a skull in one hand, blood is coming off of it. It's certainly very gruesome looking. But the energy of this deity really comes from the understanding that the thing that gets in the way, the thing, capital THE, the thing that gets in the way of our sacred connection is our cognitive, cultural, programmed mind. Thinking things need to look a certain way, be a certain way. We have to look a certain way, be a certain way. This is good, that's bad. This is right, that's wrong. Now, this cultural mind helps us navigate in a world that we were all born into. So it's not like, oh, bad, bad, bad. It's just that that gets in the way when that is elevated. We talked last series at some point about, um, I mentioned about the ways that we put all these little things, we make them the gods, right? Our supplements, our workout regimen, our, having to do this thing or that thing, rather than understanding that all of those things are about connecting us to the sacred. Right? So it's like we sometimes put the mind in that position. And certainly culturally, like I was thinking about how it's like there's all these statements like, about wasting your mind and don't waste a good mind and this and that. And it's like, what does that really mean to waste a mind? From the spiritual perspective, to waste a mind is that the mind is using precious life force energy rolling through thoughts that do not serve the highest evolution of your sacred eternal soul and the capacity to be here shining the light that you are, emanating to others the remembrance of who we really are and what we're really up to. That's the waste of mind. And we actually use our mind in terribly inefficient ways. We are trained to do that. We have to figure everything out. We have to know exactly what's going to happen. We have to plan our day. We have to, right? And it sounds as I'm saying these things like that's all bad and wrong. And I want to be very clear that I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that we put that in the high position. We elevate that instead of elevating that sacred connection and letting that be the strongest, loudest determinant, moment to moment, of how we use our mind. And that we put our mind in the position to be the listener, the receiver, the, the decoder of that, not the one that has to generate. I think we're going to pause there for today. That's just a little overview, a little flavor. For those of you who are here live, I'm going to pause the recording. Let's just have a little chat about what is this stirring up? What are you noticing? What is it bringing into awareness for you? If you're watching in the eternal now, take a moment, journal about it, get a sense like what's stirring up, because we're going to do a little process with that in a moment. Recording. Coming back after a juicy discussion, uh, and can kind of sum up a few things that we're all acknowledging that when that part of our brain takes over, it's coming usually the thinking, revving part of the brain. It's coming usually from, some past pain that it's trying to avoid, like some data it crunched a long time ago that decided this is how the world is. It's coming from asking maybe even questions that are based upon that rather than the questions that would sit us down into our sacred center, into the holy connection where divine inspiration lives. And there's this sense about like, could we live in that place of wonder and openness more frequently? And that's going to be in some way the sort of hopeful intention that as we move through this series is that we all move into living more and more from that way. To that end, we will do some meditating today, but it came up very clearly to do some tapping together, to clear out some of the impulses, the overwhelm, the so much data, so much information, have to track it all, need to tend it all, have to know it, have to get it right. If I get it wrong, it will be unsafe, la, 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 these kinds of things. To tap a little bit of that out of our system, the the panic, I could say, that holds us in those mental constructions, the fear of letting go of that part of mind, of actually letting the mind be quiet, of having a morning like this morning where I really wanted my mind to be active and clever and like tell me all the things so I could know ahead of time and feel settled and safe what all was going to come up. And it was like, no. And then I heard EFT. I'm like, great. So I was like, so I used to write a protocol. And it's like, no, we're going to be right here in the moment, right here together in the divine mind, in the discovery that can only happen when we haven't figured it all out ahead of time. Now, of course, in this moment, I'm going to just use this as a little bit of teaching before we dive in. Of course, in this moment, all the things I've trained in, all the all the ways that I have worked with this kind of thing over the course of my life, they come to bear on this moment. I couldn't walk you through tapping if I never even knew what EFT was or how to do it, right? So that's all wonderful and it's good. But what allows me to be in the moment and feel everything that you all said and use that as the script versus something I would have figured out ahead of time, to listen to the divine inspiration that happens, that can only happen because we are all now together. We were sort of like loosely together before we started today, but we're together now in a solid intentional field, and something different is here. So we're going to see what happens. So most of you know the tapping points. I'm just going to very quickly go through them. You don't have to remember them. We'll tap together. The first one is where the eyebrow begins by the bridge of the nose, and you can tap on one side or bilaterally. On the eye socket bone, on the outer eye, on the eye socket bone, under the eye, right underneath the eyeballs if you're looking straight forward, under the nose, above the lip, under the lip, above the chin, on the bones of the collar, but the underneath side of the bones. Straight over from the nipples under the arm. So it's like about 4 to 6 inches under the arm. There's a spot there. It's a spleen point. It's kind of ouchy. You can funky chicken like I just was or cross over. And then the top of the head. And we're just going to tap with all the fingertips in a tiny little circle. So these are our points. There's also the side of hand. That's where we're going to begin. You can tap like this, or you can tap like this. However you'd like. This is how I'm going to tap. Uncross the legs. Even though my mind likes to run the show, you'll just say it after me. And Tita, maybe you could unmute yourself and yeah. Even though my mind likes to run the show.
Even though my mind likes to run the show.
And that's how I think I'm going to be safe.
And that's how I think I'm going to be safe.
I completely and totally love and accept myself.
I completely and totally love and accept myself.
Even though my mind likes to run the show.
Even though my mind likes to run the show.
And that's how I think I'm going to be safe.
And that's how I think I'm going to be safe.
I completely and totally love and accept myself,
I completely and totally love and accept myself,
even though my mind likes to run the show.
even though my mind likes to run the show.
And that's how I think I'm going to be safe.
And that's how I think I'm going to be safe.
I completely and totally love and accept myself.
I completely and totally love and accept myself.
Eyebrow point, all these thoughts,
All these thoughts,
so busy in my head,
so busy in my head,
trying to hold it all,
trying to hold it all,
trying to figure it all,
trying to figure it all,
trying to discover every possible solution and every possible thing that could go wrong.
trying to every possible solution that
Discover
could
every
go wrong.
possible
Sorry.
solution. Trying to remember the words. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Outer eye point. So overwhelming.
So overwhelming.
I'm tired,
I'm tired,
but I can't let my brain rest.
but I can't let my brain
It
rest.
needs to keep going,
Needs to keep going,
keep figuring,
keep figuring,
keep remembering,
keep remembering,
keep tracking,
keep tracking,
track it all.
track it all.
Too much information.
Too much information.
Under eye, overwhelmed,
Overwhelmed,
exhausted,
exhausted,
frustrated,
frustrated,
under nose, afraid to let go,
afraid to let go,
afraid of a quiet mind.
afraid of a quiet mind.
What if I miss something?
What if I miss something?
What if I don't see it coming?
What if I don't see it coming?
What if I'm not prepared?
What if I'm not prepared?
Underlip. Feels so scary
Feels so scary
to let the mind get soft.
to let the mind get soft.
But I can also feel there's a little relief in it
But I can feel there's a little bit of a relief in it
because I'm so overwhelmed.
because I'm so overwhelmed.
Too much data.
Too much data,
Under collarbone point. Too much data.
too much data,
Too much figuring.
too much figuring.
Afraid I won't get it right.
Afraid I won't get it right.
Afraid I'll be hurt.
Afraid I'll be hurt.
Afraid I won't see it coming.
Afraid I won't see it coming.
Have to stay alert all the time.
Have to stay alert all the time.
Underarm, not okay to relax.
Not okay to relax.
Not okay to let the mind go quiet.
Not okay to let the mind go quiet.
What if I'm not safe?
What if I'm not safe?
But I'm so tired.
But I'm so tired.
Top of head, I want to start to let go,
I want to start to let go,
but it feels really scary.
but it feels really scary.
Deep breath in, deep breath out. Let your arms rest for a moment. We're going to do one more round of tapping, but if you have some water, take a drink of water. Notice what you're feeling in the body. Eyebrow point. What if I could give my brain a different job?
What if I could give my brain a different job?
Outer eye. What if it could listen to my soul?
What if it could listen to my soul?
What if it could receive sacred wisdom?
What if it could receive sacred wisdom?
And I don't have to figure,
And I don't have to figure.
and I don't have to know it all ahead of time.
And I don't have to know it all ahead of time.
Under eye, in the moment, I can be inspired.
In the moment, I can be inspired.
What if there's this different way?
What if there's this different way?
Under nose, where my mind is a soul ally,
Where my mind is a soul ally,
but it's not in charge,
but it's not in charge.
and it can relax
And it can relax
because it was never meant to be in charge.
because it was never meant to be in charge.
Underlit, maybe that's why I'm so anxious,
Maybe that's why I'm so anxious,
because my mind was never meant to be in charge.
because my mind was never meant to be in charge.
Under collarbone, the source of all light and love that I am connected to.
The source of all light and love that I am connected to.
That's what's meant to be in charge.
That's what's meant to be in charge.
What if I can allow that?
What if I can allow that?
Underarm. What if I can let my mind surrender to the wisdom of my soul?
What if I can let my mind surrender to this wisdom of my soul?
And I could relax.
And I could relax.
And I could trust.
And I could trust.
Top of head. What if I could trust?
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 I'm choosing trust.
I'm choosing trust.
I'm choosing the divine embrace.
I'm choosing the divine embrace.
I'm choosing my brain in service to my soul.
I'm choosing my brain in service to myself.
Let your arms rest. Mm. Ooh, I feel different. Do you feel different in the field? Can you feel the energy around you more? Yeah. Let's go right into meditation. I can feel it. The field is opening. The soul field, you have more access to the soul field when the mind settles. And so, with intention, feel yourself linking more fully that filament of light that moves through all concept to the very source of all source. And you feel that beginning to amplify. That filament starts to become bigger and broader and stronger and more vibrant, and that light is coming into the body. And it's actually coming in not gently, but it's like a power wash for your brain. Like literally, that light's coming inside your brain and it's power washing it. And you let it happen. You want it to happen. Let the light of your soul power wash your brain. Let it cleanse and clear. And let it power wash through. You can feel it through the jaw and down into the throat and neck. This light with great and wonderful, delicious force, refreshing, rejuvenating, activating. At just the rate and way that's right for you, with some oomph. And it happens so quickly as this light is cleansing and washing through you that you are glowing. You can feel it. You're glowing. And you may even feel the heat. And you may feel someone like they're knocking on your third eye as the third eye is about to burst open. And as that's happening and continuing to happen, I'm going to play some solfeggio music, which is music at a particular hertz, to keep this activation helping. Gently, and as you feel ready, can bring yourself a little bit to the surface. Tita will share our announcements and then we'll close our circle for the day.
We are so grateful that you have chosen to spend a bit of your precious life to be in sacred presence with us in the soul field. If you'd like more information, transformational support, links to our YouTube video collections, to have Soulfield events to populate on your calendar, or to share Soulfield with like-minded beings, you can go to soulfield.org. Without your donation and tithing generosity, Soulfield would simply not be possible. Deep bows to those of you who continue to make Soulfield a regular part of your spiritual gift giving. We are thrilled to have many of you joining us in the Eternal Now via recording. Please remember to like and comment on our videos and follow our YouTube channel. Thank you in advance for helping others find us. Our next live meditation is Wednesday, April 2nd at 5:10 p.m. And our next Soulfield experience is Sunday, April 12th at 11 a.m., both Pacific time via Zoom.
Can you feel the quiet mind, the spacious mind? So you'll have access to this recording hopefully later on today. I want to encourage you, those of you who are here and those of you who are watching the Eternal Now, you might want to fast forward to that tapping section. Again, do the tapping and the meditation. Just do that a couple times. Let that be sort of what preps you for the next part of this series. And certainly you can use it anytime you actually notice, like, I'm stuck in my mind right now, help. So we are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels, guides, and guardians. Remembering, as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings. Such a blessing, loves, to be with you. Thank you for being here. Blowing out our candle, symbolizing the formal close of this circle. And I'll look forward to being with you all again soon.